Hey you guys, so I wanted to pop in here because I know honestly, this is one of the times of year that can be really, really difficult for some people. And I just want to talk a little bit about just kind of understanding your own brand of hard and showing up for yourself, and recognizing and just kind of re-tapping into, why are you still here? Why are you watching this video? Why are you in our group? Why did you start this journey to begin with? And just to kind of re-tap into that and just remember where you are coming from, and how far you've come so far, because every single one of you who's in here has made some level of progress. So anyway, I just want to talk a little bit today about okay, is it really going to be easier for you to quit? To throw in the towel and just say, I can't do this right now. I'm too, my kids are too sick. I'm too uncomfortable, or I don't have enough time. All of these different reasons that our mind likes to present to us as reasons that, maybe it would just be easier. Maybe it would just be easier to just completely stop trying to take care of myself altogether. And really, we don't phrase it that way in our brains. We say, well, I should just stop. I can't make the time to work out right now, or I can't make the time to eat healthy or to meal prep or whatever. So I should just stop. Because maybe that'll simplify my life. And what we don't recognize is that when we do that, we're essentially saying that we want to go back to where we were. We want to go back to square one. We don't really recognize that we're saying that. We think we're going to just make our lives a little bit easier by simplifying and things like that. But when you completely check out of your ability to navigate and manage, your time, and just to manage your ability to show up for whatever's going on in your life, whether it's sick kids, whether you're, early pregnant, late pregnant, just in a place where, maybe you're just dealing with a lot at work, maybe you're sick, whatever's going on. There's going to be a point when you're going to be presented with the thought, or if you might have already had it already, that maybe you should just not worry about, this. You should just ignore the group and ignore the notifications, ignore the idea that you wanted to, stick to doing your workouts a certain number of days, ignore your goals, and just let's just throw in the towel. And what I was listening to a podcast yesterday, and it was just talking about kind of the benefits of doing that and the downsides of doing that. And just understanding why this happens and why our minds like to present us with that kind of a thought. And really what it comes down to is good stress and bad stress. So in this podcast, they talked about how when you're lifting weights and you are lifting something that's, maybe a little bit heavier, but not quite, it's not overly heavy. It's not so heavy that it's hurting your muscles, but it's challenging. That's a good kind of a stress. When you're pushing your body to do something where it kind of is torn down a little bit by the stress, but then it has the ability to rebuild and to be, grow back stronger from that. That's a good kind of a stress. A bad kind of a stress is the kind of stress where you're maybe under so much pressure that your muscles are unable to come back from that, and they get injured. So if you think about this in life, the good kind of stress and the bad kind of stress in life, showing up and taking good care of yourself, that's always going to be a good kind of stress, as long as you're doing it in a way, you shouldn't be working out for 4 or 5 hours a day. But if you're trying to commit to 20, 30 minutes, maybe an hour tops per day of self-care time where you're exercising, you're investing time in personal growth, and it feels difficult to show up to that time, then that's not an indication that that's bad stress. It's stressful to try and figure it out and to try to, navigate how do I make this work in my life, but it's not a bad kind of stress. It's the kind of stress that if you work through it and you get through the way that you're feeling, then you're going to grow. You're going to grow through that process. You're going to grow to be better at time management. You're going to grow in your confidence to show up for yourself during a hard period of time. So I just want to challenge you guys to think about good stress versus bad stress in your life. This is the kind of thing, showing up for our group, showing up for yourself, showing up in your personal journey, your personal growth. These are the kinds of things that create good stress in our lives. Okay, we don't want to stop doing those things, because when we stop doing those things, we revert back to the person who's in the before picture. So I want you to visualize yourself, if you have any kind of a before picture, and visualize, where you were 3-5 months ago, 10, maybe 3-5 years ago, depending on how long you've been a part of this community and you've been on this journey for you. And just try and imagine what would happen if you completely stopped all of the good habits that you've started to create, and you just gave up. you would go back to that before picture. It might not, it might not happen in a day, it might not happen in a week, but those kinds of self-care habits where we're putting ourselves in this good kind of a stressful situation where we're, being challenged, those are the kinds of things that help us stay moving forward. And if we give in to the idea that that's bad stress and that we want to get rid of it, and we do get rid of it, then we revert back to the person that we were beforehand. And I know I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there because I look back at those pictures from 5 years ago and I can see how difficult it was for me to function on a day-to-day basis. I can see the lack of drive and passion in my eyes. I don't want that before picture to come back and be my reality. So that makes me want to show up and to recognize, the times that maybe I'm feeling that the good stress is hard stress, that I can still work through it. So anyway, I've just been rambling, but hope this is helpful to you. If you're feeling stuck and you feel like you need to just talk things through with somebody, please message me or comment below, message somebody in the group. We can support each other through these different things. And I just want you guys to know that just because you're going through something hard doesn't mean that you can't help somebody else. And it also doesn't mean that you're helpless. So anyway, talk to you guys later.